Hi, I'm Joe Roth. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and informing people about our life-saving mission. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Protecting our teens on the road, next on Caucus New Jersey.
Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by Wells Fargo, the New Jersey Education Association, PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the heart of academic medicine, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Caldwell University, and by New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
Welcome to Caucus New Jersey. I'm Steve Adubato. You know, every 11 minutes, a teen crashes in New Jersey. There are many programs designed to increase teen driving safety, but the best driving practice are often learned by example. Here to discuss ways that we can keep our teens safe on the road, we have Wendy Burke, Public Education Coordinator at the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. Also Mike Van Wagner, who's been with us before to talk about this topic, but he's back again. Vice President of Public Affairs and JM Insurance Company. Mike Sandor, Supervisor of Health, Physical Education, and Driver Safety at Summit High School, a school very committed to this movement. And also Jasmine Bolivar, Co-President of the Summit High School Safety Society. What's going on at Summit High School that you're so interested and committed to teen driver safety?
Well, they actually split my position from athletic director and supervisor of health, physical education, and driver safety. And that allowed me to focus tremendously on driver safety at Summit High School. I'm back in the classroom teaching driver education to our sophomore classes. And what a better idea than to form a Summit Safety Society, get our students involved in the quest for safe driving in our city and surrounding community.
Yeah, this is an issue. I mean, every 11 minutes. And by the way, Mike, we've been talking about this for a while. Yeah. And your organization is very committed to this. And by the way, you can see several websites throughout this program that can help you find out more about teen driver safety and not being distracted on the road. Why is your organization so committed to this?
Well, I appreciate the question, Steve. I mean, safety's always been a focus of NJM, and we were started as a workers' comp carrier, and safety in the workplace is where we began.
Right.
Well, we've become one of the largest auto insurers in the state. We insure somewhere in the neighborhood of 40,000 teen drivers.
Right.
We've got 2,500 employees. A lot of them have teen drivers. I'll have one in another month.
By the way, before you go any further, you will have one in a month of this program. What's your story?
October 9th.
October 9th. We're actually doing this program as we move into October, into the fall of 2015. And you?
Just started 3 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. So the timing's perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is important. It's a focus area for us, and if we can make a difference in helping teens to be a little bit better when they start driving, well, that's worth the investment we've made. So it's a big commitment of ours, and we're thrilled to partner with Wendy and her organization at the Brain Injury Alliance, as well as at Summit and so many of the schools in New Jersey.
How'd you get into this?
Well, he started the Summit Safety Society, and it's like...
It's his fault?
Yeah.
In a good way. Go ahead.
And it's like a group of students, and we're getting educated about the dangers of distracted driving. And then we'll go on and spread the word to our community about the dangers of it, and specifically texting and driving.
Talk about that. How common is it? Texting and driving.
I think now like adults do it so often, but they don't realize it because it's just something that they do. They'll be driving and they'll pick up their phone. And then us getting educated about now, like my dad, he was driving, then he picked up his phone. I was like, really?
You said it.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Georgette, is that true? Your dad's in the green room?
Yeah.
Oh boy. and he's watching the show. When you did that, this is interesting. I'm debating how far to go with this subject with our own family, because my wife and I had this ongoing discussion about distractions. You challenged him on this.
Oh,
What was his
every single
response?
time. Well, he gets embarrassed about it. He doesn't even realize he's doing it, so he's just like, oh, okay, and puts the phone down.
But you had an impact.
Yeah.
So, do younger people model us?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and we say in the traffic safety field that as soon as we turn that car seat around, your child is watching you and they're watching everything that you do. And it's so important to practice safe driving behaviors because our children will follow us. And I wanted to add that through the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey, in cooperation with New Jersey Manufacturers, who's actually our founding partner, we developed a teen safe driving program.
What does it involve?
Well, it's the You Got Brains Champion Schools program.
You Got Brains.
You Got Brains Champion Schools program. And so we've actually outreached to Summit High School and other high schools throughout the state and encourage them and engage them to create these campaigns in their community. And I think, as Jasmine said so great, is that, you know, we don't only encourage the students to talk to their peers, we encourage the teens to talk to their parents and to really help educate the parents about the importance of safe driving and avoiding distractions when driving.
Well, let's talk about some of the most common distractions. First, texting. Is texting the worst, Mike?
I would think it's one of the worst for sure.
Why is it so
It's right
bad?
up there.
Why is texting so bad?
Well, again, as we said, our parents are our role models. So when we get in the car and we're doing that, and what happens most of the time, you don't get into a crash. So children are made to believe that it's safe to do that.
Well, let's describe
in a
why
car.
texting is so dangerous, though. The act of texting. What makes it?
Taking your eyes off the road, just for that fraction of a second, can be the difference in getting into an accident.
It takes
And
concentration to text.
absolutely.
It takes your attention, your focus, your concentration off the road.
It takes concentration to drive. You have to be focused at all times. You have to be scanning the roadway. You have to be checking your rear view mirror, your side view mirrors, what's out in front of you 12 seconds ahead. You have to be focused. Even the radio can be a distraction.
The radio?
Radio, the noise level, it's a proven statistic that as the radio volume raises, the speed increases.
Okay, so you get radio, you get texting. What else, Mike?
Well, let's talk about texting a little, Steve. I think that's interesting. There have always been distractions, but the nature of the use of cell phones today, it's second nature. It's habit. The phone rings, the text buzz, you pick it up.
Right.
So the idea that you shouldn't do that is one thing, but the automatic reaction. So you just have to work that much harder to resist. So I think that's different than what we've had in the past. I mean, but in addition to that, we're much better today, I think, and I think Mike and Wendy would probably affirm this. We've done a great job educating kids with respect to driving while under the influence. And I think the peer support in that, from the day that I went to high school to what we see today, kids get that. They share rides, they do the things that they should. But it's texting and it's distracted driving as well as, we don't see it as much with the kids, we see it more with adults, but you can just be fatigued driving. So what we try to do through some of our training, and I'll talk about that a little later, is just make the kids aware of the different types of things that can take you and your eyes off of the road. And I think those are the three big ones.
You drink a cup of coffee, you think no big deal, right? You're tired.
Right.
It affects you. I mean, there are all kinds of things that affect us, right?
Yes, and so a lot of the things that we're talking about, and I think as Mike said, it's the taking your eyes off the road, but it's also the cognitive distractions. And that's why actually the #1 distraction for teens is having passengers in the car.
I was just going to say, how about having too many kids in the car?
Well, yes. I mean, for teens, even having one passenger increases
Really?
their risk of a distraction.
One passenger?
One passenger.
Why?
And so the interesting thing is, for adults, having a passenger in the car is actually keeps us safer because it's an extra set of eyes. For a teen who's a new driver and doesn't have the experience behind them, that conversation that's ensuing is a distraction for them. When you add additional passengers, your crash risks quadruple.
Talk about this a little bit.
Well, yeah,
Passengers.
now that I'm driving, I mean, like, it could be a distraction because, like, when my friends are in the car, I'm like, oh, let me impress them with, like, music or, like, you know, kind of, like, show off. But at the same time, like, now that I'm in the Summit Safety Society and, like, it's like I'm informed about the dangers of it, I'll give them my phone and then they'll be, like, my hands and eyes for my phone.
So hold on. Because you're in the program at Summit High School, your driving habits have changed considerably. So if you do have a friend in the car, you will give, because when you start driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not driving yet?
I have my permit. I'm getting my license
Okay,
next.
so boy, everything's happening right about this
Yeah.
time in the fall of 2015 as we do this program. So you will give your phone to who was ever in the car with you.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the whole thing with the radio?
Well,
Think
like,
that through.
I don't know. It depends. Like, if you're like playing music or something, like the kind of music that's being played could distract you.
The kind of music, is that true, Mike?
I would think that rock and roll would be
Yeah.
more distracting than, say, something a lower.
Well, you think she's going to
Lower
listen
key.
to Sinatra? So the kind of music matters as well. The number of people, the kind of music, whether you're in fact the one who's playing with it, with the music itself, all those things matter. And by the way, go to Mike's point. Let's deal with the alcohol issue.
Are you seeing that in your experience? Is driving after folks have been out drinking, is that a problem that you see that's prevalent?
Well, in a lot of cases, yeah, because like a lot of teenagers nowadays drink, especially at prom, which we did a prom assembly about it. I mean, if you're gonna make a mistake and drink, you should at least be smart enough to like have someone drive you, or in a lot of cases now, there's like Uber, taxis to take you from where you need to be if you're under the influence.
Okay, so are we seeing significant changes in teen driver habits connected to, listen, we could say you shouldn't drink at all, and we could advocate that, but say we assume for a second that there'll be some teen drinking going on. We're not advocating it in any way, but assume for a second there is some teen drinking. Are we picking up any changes in the habits at all in connection with if that drinking, unfortunately, is going to go on with driving?
I would think so. I think that society and the media has done a great job of pounding that into us that, you know, drinking and driving is unsafe. And there are many different ways in which to, you know, handle that situation. Uber, getting rides, calling for a ride, having a driver, designated driver.
Are these
of
the
that
questions?
nature.
Hold on, back us up. Sorry for interrupting. Aren't these questions that parents should be going through with their children, with their kids before the keys are given?
Absolutely. Communication is the key to success.
Do you think most parents are having these conversations?
Yeah.
No.
What are the three questions you always ask?
Three questions that you ask, and this is what we're trying to teach our parents by running a Share the Keys program, is
It's called the Share the Keys program.
Share the Keys program. And what we want is we want our parents to ask their children, where are you going? Who are you going with? And what time will you be home? Asking those three questions cuts their chance of the risk of having a crash by 50%.
Why?
Because there's communication. Because the children are now thinking before they act. They're not just getting into a car and grabbing the keys and going. And they know that their parent cares. And you want a parent with an authoritative role model so that they are showing support, but they're also keeping them accountable and holding them to the rules of the household.
Jump in here.
Well, I wanted to add what you were talking about in terms of drinking. When you look at the top causes of teen crashes, drinking is no longer in the top 10. It probably has gone down to about 20 or so.
It's not in the top 10?
So I have to say that gives us real hope for making a change in terms of texting and driving. And we've seen this in transportation safety, whereas we've seen now, 93% of people in New Jersey wear their seatbelts. We know that drinking and driving numbers have come down, certainly amongst the teens. And now it's just a matter of following the wave of education and awareness and bringing the numbers for texting and other types of distraction
Mike,
down.
what's one of the other initiatives? I remember we were at one of the receptions at NJM. You were talking about, I think you were launching the simulator initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that, because that's fascinating to me. And I know we wish that every school could have one, but they're not cheap. So let's talk this through.
Yeah, I will. In fact, there's two primary programs that we have to help with teen driver safety awareness. The simulator is one of those, and I'll start first though with, so we have two former law enforcement officials on staff
Right.
who go out and visit high schools, and they do presentations to driver's ed classes, to senior classes. It doesn't matter. If the high school is interested in having the presentation, we do it. We've been in about 187 high schools in New Jersey and estimate that we're somewhere north of 30,000 students have heard this. Now, they've heard this before. They've heard it from Mike. They've heard it from their other driver's ed, but it's reinforcing the message, and it's delivered by two guys who had to respond to a lot of
Right.
accidents. So they bring
They've
that.
seen it.
They've got the gravitas there. That's right. They've seen it, and they really have connected. So we've gotten really good feedback on that program, and that's ongoing. And I would say if there are any school administrators listening and you haven't participated and you'd like to, reach out to us. There's no cost to the school. It's a service that we do as a public service. And the other initiative that you touched on, Steve, was the simulator. So in partnership with the Brain Injury Association, with the You Got Brains program, we decided that we would incent the students who are participating from each school for the top 3 finishers in their program each year, we would donate a virtual driving simulator.
A virtual driving simulator. What is that?
Well, it's 3 screens. You sit and it simulates the road, and you've got panels on either side and one right in front of you. You've got controls, and it's as if you're driving down the highway. There are distractions that come up. There are traffic lights. There's other traffic, and you are at the wheel. So we did that initially, and again, it was the top finisher and the second and third place finishers. A couple of years ago, to celebrate our 100th anniversary as a company, we surprised all of Wendy's participants. I think it was all 55 schools.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
That thought they were competing for 3 simulators.
Yes.
And at their awards ceremony, we announced we're donating every single school that participated got a simulator.
How much impact does that have?
Oh, it was huge. It was an Oprah moment, and people still talk about it because
What does it do for these kids?
you know what, it just really rewards great behavior. And I tell you, that's always such a hard time because the students, as Jasmine and her team know, they put their heart and souls into these programs, and they really want to make a difference, but they also want to win because they realize that winning a driving simulator not only helps their class, but it's sustainable because future classes can learn and practice
Well,
driving
what
on
does
a
it do for those
simulator.
kids in terms of the actual, because it's not a car itself.
It's not
but
a car, but research does show that, well, we know that experience and practice driving, which
Yes.
is what we had talked
You
about.
were just saying that you're
is
taking your daughter
exactly.
out for nighttime driving.
Exactly.
Experience.
We know that practice helps reduce crashes. And so the research is showing that practicing on these simulators will actually help reduce crashes, and you're doing the practice driving in a safe environment. And so it's a huge asset to the schools, and ones that the schools, quite frankly, can't afford. And if I can just divert for a moment, last year our grand prize winning school was Jackson Memorial High School, and they won a driving simulator, and the president of their club had lost his sibling in a car crash. And when we announced that he won the simulator, his school, he broke down in tears because he was so happy to leave that legacy from his family to the school and to future classes.
That's powerful.
It was so meaningful. And so the power of offering our program and that simulator is just, it's so meaningful to the students and to the teacher and to the schools.
Mike, let's talk a little bit more about peer-to-peer coaching, teaching, mentoring when it comes to teen driver safety.
Well, I think
And Jasmine, you get into this as well. Go ahead.
I think that was one of the reasons why we formulated a club. We thought, or at least I thought, that having the teenage perspective, having teens speak to teens, having our club come up with ideas on how we could preach safe driving? How can we get our classmates and our students and the community to drive safer? How can we do that? So I turned to my students and asked them to come up with their ideas and challenge them to come up with ways in which we can promote safe driving in our community, and that's what they're doing now.
So, Jess, let me ask you. So you advocate not only not to drink and drive, because you shouldn't be drinking at all because it's not legal,
Yeah.
but beyond that, no texting, no distractions. What else?
Well, we focus on distracted driving, but the way that we get it throughout the community, we focus on teenagers. So we reach to them through social media. We've created Instagram pages, Facebook, Twitter, and we have a lot of followers from our school on there. And we've also done the Share the Keys program in school.
Share the Keys program.
Mm-hmm. And
What does that mean?
Text.
How does that work?
Share the Keys?
Yeah.
It was a contract. I did this with my dad as well, where we would agree on certain terms, like when I would go out, who I'd go out with, what times I'd return, and like stuff like that.
It's a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you something. I'm curious about the kind of reaction that you've been getting from your peers. How positive and how much pushback?
The pushback, yeah, there's a lot of pushback.
There is a lot of pushback.
Yeah, because you would be like.
Based on what? I don't want you to. Who are you? What is it? Who are you to keep me? Try to keep me safe? What?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Really?
kind of a nerdy kind of thing, but
What is it?
it's really not.
It's nerd. You got to talk to me about this.
Yeah.
What's nerdy about it?
Like, all right, when we were doing the prom presentation, we had to present in front of like seniors and juniors, and they all looked at us like, oh, you're gonna do this? Like, they were kind of bored about it, and we wanted to take it into our own hands and like put like teenagers' perspectives. We didn't want to lecture them. We kind of wanted to like get through to them. So that's how we did the social media.
Let me ask you something. When you knew that there were some of your classmates that thought you and that it was nerdy, how did you feel about that?
Well, I was like, obviously, I was like, oh, like, should I do this? But like, once I started learning about it, like, once you get informed about something like risky like that, you can't be uninformed. So I just kind of wanted to share with my friends and my family, because they're not just putting themselves at risk, but like the other people in the car and people on the road.
You stood up.
Yeah.
You're a leader. Mike, what are you hearing?
I loved what I just heard, which is they're not lecturing one another. We do that pretty well as adults. So when they hear that message, and I've been to Wendy's program that day, Steve, it's a wonderful day, and you see the projects the kids have put together. It's not the old cut and paste art that you and I did. It's social media, it's videography, compelling stuff that works. So I commend you guys on what you're doing. And don't let the comments get you down. Keep going.
And I will tell you what I've seen over the last few years, we've been doing this now 6 years, is that I think initially when the club starts, it's almost like, oh no, I don't want to be a part of that. But you know, I've seen a real change in that, and that most of the people in the driving clubs happen to be the school leaders. You know, they're the sports captains and the kids that are really viewed as leaders. And oftentimes that really helps, because you're then able to, you know, almost look up and follow what your peers are saying. But I thought what you said was awesome, Jasmine, in that once you knew the message, you couldn't keep it to yourself, because you're absolutely right. And one of the hardest things for me, Steve, is that when we walk into a school where they've suffered loss.
I was just going to say that.
And you know, when you know, people might think like, oh, you know, who wants to talk about safety?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's nothing fun about walking into a school who's lost a student.
To your point, one of my closest friends growing up, and I know she watches the show, and there's a subject that's way too close to her and for her. Lost her daughter in an accident, and you know, I remember when I was there for the services after, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of high school and other kids that were early college kids when it happened several years ago. But the point I'm making is that you see this overwhelming reaction and response on the part of the community, particularly young people, the reaction to this horrific event, right, this accident. And you think, oh, well, now they're ready to talk. And I asked myself, does it take that? Like, does it take this terrible accident, this tragic death, And what about all the surrounding communities that know what happened?
Yeah.
They know this beautiful young girl died in a car accident. You know, am I making any sense of this?
You are. I mean, I don't know, Steve. I would only use that drunk driving scenario. I mean, we got that message. I think kids got that message. So it takes a while. So I think that emotional impact does sort of shake you out of the.
Do you have to seize it in that moment?
Well, I don't know. I think
It shouldn't take that.
Yeah, it shouldn't take that. But I think it has its effect.
Yeah, and by the way, we should make it clear that teen driving safety also keeps others safe on the road, right, Mike?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's not forget that.
But I really think that our
few
parents,
seconds, go ahead.
Our parents are the key.
Parents are the key.
Parents are the key.
We're the role models. We can't be preaching, as Mike said, we can't be lecturing and just doing the wrong thing because it isn't what we say, it's ultimately what we do. I want to thank all of you for joining us. I especially want to thank you for joining us and being the leader that you are. Keep standing up and doing the right thing, okay? You're a leader.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and 13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by Wells Fargo, the New Jersey Education Association, PSE&G, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Caldwell University, and by New Jersey Sharing Network. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
New Jersey is a leader in solar power, and PSE&G is doing its part. With 24 solar installations in New Jersey, projects that are giving landfills new purpose and turning former brownfields green. Solar powers more than our homes and schools and businesses. It powers our economy by creating jobs right here in the Garden State. PSE&G, proud to support New Jersey.